Time now for Focus. It's in your smartphone. It's an essential component of batteries in electric cars. Cobalt has become a coveted metal. Most of it, about 60%, comes from just one country, the Democratic Republic of Congo. But there are ethical concerns. Amnesty International says children and adults are mining cobalt in extremely hazardous conditions. France 2's Marc de Chavron reports with Erin Okungeye.
It's a race against the clock to dig up as much of the precious mineral as possible, whether by mechanized industrial mining or hard human labor. Cobalt is one of the world's most coveted resources. Its value has nearly tripled over the past year. But who is benefiting from these rising prices? The answers may be found in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which produces 60% of the world's cobalt. It's a source of great wealth for some. For others, cobalt rhymes with a growing black market, corruption, and worker exploitation. This is one of the biggest mines in eastern Congo. A 40 meters deep open pit, and the result of just 1 year of excavations.
No need to be an expert to understand the work we're doing here. Do you see the black strip over there? That's the ore, the cobalt mineralization.
Global demand for cobalt has skyrocketed. It is an essential component of new generations of batteries for smartphones and especially electric cars.
Last year, people were already speculating on the automobile industry and new technologies, especially electric cars. We expected it, but maybe not at this scale.
Industrial groups are the first to benefit from this boom. Prices are soaring, and no one wants to miss out on their share of the profits.
Yeah, well, it's growing. We are producing now 5,000 tons per year, and we are going to expand to 21,000 tons per year.
There are the producers, and then there are those tasked with buying the raw material, seen here in this processing plant. Most of it is headed to one destination in particular.
On cobalt, it has been selling mostly to China, because China have the refining capacity to refine it and make into batteries.
The metal is exported as a fine green powder.
90% of the cobalt that's extracted here in the Democratic Republic of Congo is exported to China. It's either extracted by Chinese companies directly or bought, as you'll see, in rather opaque circumstances.
Cobalt is a material of utmost strategic importance. Chinese companies are present all over eastern Congo, willing to go to great lengths to obtain the precious mineral, including makeshift mines, like this one. These mines have proliferated over the past few years, and access to them is strictly monitored. We managed to discreetly visit one such mine. Here, a Chinese buyer supervises workers as they load bags of the mineral. Meanwhile, at the heart of the mine, so-called diggers are at work. These diggers say they earn between 1 and 2 euros per day. After they fill their bags with the cobalt, they sell the merchandise on the black market, which is controlled by Chinese companies, like this one. We filmed the scene with a hidden camera. The trader shows us a board where the prices of raw materials are displayed. A quarter of the cobalt extracted in the Congo is sold through the black market, a colossal business. A Congolese employee of the biggest Chinese company in the country confirmed the scale of the clandestine market.
Here, no matter the quality or the amount of cobalt, they'll buy it. The black market works very well. It's well organized, you'll see.
The business appears to be under the active protection of the Congolese government. The Presidential Guard, an elite force which answers directly to President Joseph Kabila, are posted at the headquarters of this Chinese company. According to the diggers we met, it's a protection that also extends to the shady ramifications of the cobalt business.
C'est juste les gardes présidentiels de notre Congo et qui gardent les Chinois là-bas au dépôt.
Ils sont ensemble?
Oui, ils sont ensemble. C'est les Chinois qui font la loi parce qu'il a trouvé notre pays qui est foutu.
Ubebe tena na momakuta unakata porque hautasema ukiseme banakupika. Nyapa moya faire.
In the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where cobalt generates hundreds of millions of euros each year, more than 70% of the population lives below the poverty line.
For more on this, I'm now joined by Adama Gaye. He's the author of China, Africa, the Dragon and the Ostrich. Hello, thank you very much indeed for your time. Now, how long has China been reaping the benefits of cobalt in the Democratic Republic of Congo?
Look, China has been looking for natural resources, including cobalt, coltan, copper, and other mineral resources for as long as it has started becoming really this growing economic power since the early 1990s. Now and recently it has become more obvious because China is involved in a strategic battle to avoid being confronted with the domination of Western powers. Those Western powers managed, for instance, in the 1980s to cripple down the former Soviet Union's economy by imposing high price rate for oil, and that more than anything else led to the demise of the former Soviet Union. China doesn't want to be caught off guard. Now it's going across Africa in order to secure the control of those resources, and that is why it is part of this in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is considered as a geological scandal because of its huge natural resources in that territory.
Now, in our report, there's a suggestion that the Congolese government isn't just turning a blind eye to the black market, it's actually actively protecting it. What can you tell us about that?
It's a disaster, but it's a reality. And that is nothing new. It's not just the Chinese that are doing this. You recall that in the 19th century, the Belgian king, Leopold II, decided to take control of the Democratic Republic of Congo, which was called the Congo, as own property in order to control it. It needed the resources to fuel the expansion of Belgium and other European nations. And that's the reason why even the Berlin Conference was convened in 1884-85 by Bismarck to discuss how to control African resources and territories. That's the same thing, that model that is being duplicated and replicated by the Chinese today. So there's nothing new in this regard. Unfortunately, in the past as today, there has been always people at the highest level of those nations and territories, in the past chiefs and today leaders in countries that have been colluding with foreign nations, Chinese today, in the past West Europeans and Americans during the Cold War in order to raid their countries. That's nothing new, unfortunately, and it has to be addressed by the Africans themselves.
So where does this corruption leave locals, these people working in the mines, according to Amnesty International, in very hazardous conditions? Do they have any protections at all? Does the government look out for them at all?
No, not at all. There are many laws that are not respected. Laws to protect children, international conventions. You have international convention of investment that are supposed to produce better conditions of living for the people, that should provide progress for the nations. You have laws including in the law of the sea and other types of conventions that are accepted. But unfortunately, if you have leaders who don't care about the conditions of their people and instead only focus on their own individual interests, that leads to this kind of unfortunate situation that you have described in your report, which indicate that not only they suffer from the Chinese, but also the ordinary people are beaten by the presidential guard. Unfortunately, the likes of Kabila and other people like him ruling countries illegitimately. They have to do that because China is today the only nation that can provide them with the umbrella that they need, because the Western powers, they are yielding their power in order to impose democratic norms. And in order to escape from those conditionalities of democracy, they have to deal with the Chinese, and unfortunately, the ordinary people are paying for that kind of treason by the leaders.
All right, I'm afraid we'll have to leave it there. We really appreciate your time and your analysis. Thank you very much indeed, Adama Gaye, for joining us for today's Focus. And thank you. I'll be back in a few minutes. Stay tuned.